to the BigFooty podcast for the Collingwood board. You're here with 76 Wooden Spooners, and I've got the great pleasure of having some special guests here today. For the first time on the Collingwood podcast, we have DaVe86. Welcome to the podcast, Dave.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
We also have a semi-regular who's been on a few podcasts before, HotPiesWithSauce over in Adelaide. How are you doing there?
Not too bad. I'm still a little sore from the reaming we received from Hawthorn on Friday night, but otherwise I'm okay. Hey,
I heard rumours or somebody mentioned that Football Park is closing down pretty soon. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think that's a big secret because Adelaide Oval is going to be starting up next year, sort of hosting AFL games. So, yeah, AAMI Stadium will be disappearing.
So AAMI Stadium will be – we will see our last rounds of AFL footy played on AAMI Stadium in the next few weeks. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure that's the idea, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be the end of an era. And
I'm looking forward to it, actually. I hate going to AAMI Stadium.
Okay. And we have Cory on the podcast. Welcome, Cory.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Have you been to training lately at all?
Not lately. I've been a bit busy with uni at the moment. Okay. So,
how's uni going for you?
It's pretty good. But I have Thursdays off, so I should be able to get to a few more for the season's end.
Okay. I think our main training day will be Thursday next week with the Sunday game. So something to check out.
Yeah, I think it's this week as well. I think maybe because it's Friday game.
Thursday will be the light training session.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. Well, let's get into it, fellas. We played Hawthorn on the weekend, and our two good games against Essendon and the Swans sort of came to an end, and we fell to the Hawks. What went wrong? DaVe86.
I actually thought we played pretty good. Our intensity was good. I thought a couple of times Hawthorn looked like they were going to run away with it, but we hung in there with them, which is different to how we've played the last few times. They've run away with it by over 50 points, but I just think it was skill level. In the wind, Hawthorn made it seem like it was dry weather football, whereas we were just over kicking, missing some easy shots. But it was definitely improvement on the last few games. I definitely want another shot at them. I think we can get them eventually.
Well, hopefully we do get another shot at them before the end of the year.
Maybe the grand final.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know. Maybe there might be some other teams we'd rather face in the grand final. But, so, Cory, where do you think we lost the game?
Probably, I guess, with in the defence, I guess, with the crumbing forwards, like Rioli and, we saw the Rioli goal from the soccer. It's probably just, they were just too good, I guess. Just a class above, I guess, top four teams. Didn't have a lot of intensity near the end. I think if we got our goal kicking a bit, we got a few more goals instead of misses, we would have won it. But that didn't happen in the end. Just got outclassed by a better team.
Well, one person who surprisingly did get up for a goal was Quinton Lynch, but certainly I think apart from that, he didn't have the best of games. What was your views, HotPies, on Quinton Lynch's game?
I generally don't like to badmouth our own players, but in that game, I thought he looked painfully slow. I mean, I've seen continents move faster. Now, I know we didn't recruit him for his speed, but when he's the third or fourth link in a chain of quick handballs and he fumbles the ball and he turns it over, it's a momentum killer. I just feel like that's the sort of the problem. We're getting a great sort of chain, we're getting a big run on, and then it's getting to him and it's just dead. And, it's really sort of it's soul-sapping when you've tried so hard and you just don't get your reward for your effort. And that's my problem with him at the moment.
Yeah. Well, Quinton Lynch came to Collingwood as a trade for, he came to Collingwood and Sherrod Wellingham went the other way over the Nullarbor to the West Coast Eagles. Who do you think got the better deal between the two? Do you think West Coast Eagles did better getting Wellingham, or do you think we did better getting Lynch? What are your thoughts, DaVe86?
Well, I mean, really, it wasn't the same deal. I mean, obviously, we get Quinton Lynch through free agency, and the Sherrod Wellingham was a trade for, I think it was pick 18. So, I mean, on looking at the broader picture, we get Grundy with pick 18. So, it turns out to be a pretty good deal in the end. I mean, I can see where the club was going. We needed a backup ruck, and we thought we were going to go jolly with the backup ruck being a maybe third tall option, and Lynch fit the bill. So, I just think it hasn't worked. I don't know if his finger's going against him, but still on whole, I think the deal for Wellingham works out good considering the draft pick we got in return. And then we also have to remember we get Clinton Young as well through free agency. Really the loss, I think, from getting Quentin Lynch was losing Chris Dawes to Melbourne. I think when he saw Lynch coming to the club, he decided he had to get out. But again, Dawes hasn't done much for Melbourne either, so it was probably a break even there.
Do you think West Coast Eagles would have been happy with Wellingham?
I think Wellingham's going to turn out very good for them. His last month's been particularly good. Obviously, he's battled injuries most of the year as well, but they need a bit more through the middle, and Wellingham's going to provide that, whereas to us, he was probably more of just a bonus, bit of an outsider. We played him at half forward, and we can win without him, but I think he's a bit more essential to West Coast.
Okay. So you mentioned Ruckman, and I mean, what a phenomenon Grundy was over the weekend. Corey, what did you make of Grundy's game?
I thought he was pretty good. Previous weeks I've been surprised by Grundy. I hadn't watched a lot of draft footage of him, or I didn't really know a lot about him before. But from the first game, his second game, and the third game, he's been pretty solid in the ruck. He's competed against people like players like Mumford, Hale and Roughhead, and I think it was Brogan and Gillies. So they're all experienced AFL ruckmen, and he's held his own against them. And yeah, it's been good seeing him. He's carried a lot of the ruck load, so it's good having someone like that.
Yeah, well, this week he comes up against the Collingwood Football Club come up against the best ruck combination in the league. HotPies, do you think that we should be playing Grundy this week? And if so, how do you think he'll go?
I'm a little each way on Grundy at the moment. On one hand, he has enormous potential. He's got a ferocious attack on the ball, a never say die attitude, the coordination of a midfielder in a ruckman's body. On the other hand, my girlfriend is obsessed with him, and every week that he gets a game is another opportunity for her to perv on his rippling biceps, his rugged good looks. And, I mean, the guy makes a man bun look good, so how do I compete with that? So, maybe they could give him a rest for a little while. Let me sort of get my end in again. That didn't come out right. No, I didn't mean that really. But I would like to see him play against West Coast, seriously. But I would like Jolly to come in with him, and I'd prefer Grundy and Jolly to play a similar sort of role to Nick, Nat and Cox, where each take turns resting in the forward line. We know that Jolly loves to kick a goal, and I think Grundy's height and his attack on the ball would make him a tough matchup in the forward line. I'd love to see him up against West Coast. Remember,
too, no Nick Natanui for the rest of the season, so you're coming up against Lysette and Cox, so it's probably not as strong as usual, and I think Grundy will match Lysette pretty good in a ruck, and then perhaps Jolly goes on to Cox.
For sure, yeah.
So Dave, what do you think we should expect of Grundy for the rest of the season? Do we just continue to play him, or do you think we'll need to rest him, or do you think that we bring in Jolly or Hudson to replace him, particularly in the finals where we might need that experience?
Oh, I think realistically he's going to need a rest being his first year and not much of a pre-season, but while his form's this good, you can't possibly drop him, and I suppose you keep playing him until he shows signs that he's going to tire. We don't have the luxury of a double chance or anything like that, and he's clearly been probably our best option the last few weeks. So I think you have to stick with him. And as Hot Pie said, you probably bring in Jolly because Quentin Lynch, unfortunately, isn't offering much. So even if you have to use Jolly as a tall forward, he at least demands an opponent. I think it's more going to be about getting back up for Grundy as opposed to dropping him, because I don't think we can afford to right now.
Yeah. Okay, so moving right along. Now, Monday, 26th of August, is a big day for the AFL community. We've got the Essendon Football Club and 4 of its staff members going up in front of the AFL Commission on various charges of bringing the game into disrepute. DaVe86, what do you think will happen on Monday? Do you think Monday will deliver us the conclusion to this saga that we've been seeking, or will it just be another footnote in a long story that is not going to end anytime soon?
This isn't going to be the end, because obviously Asada still has to come down with their verdict. We've only got an interim verdict from them. In regards to the AFL's charges, I hope they come up with a decision. I mean, at the moment it's Collingwood Essendon first week of the finals. So could you imagine the uproar if Essendon happened to beat us and then subsequently got found guilty? So you'd think the AFL comes up with a verdict now. And, I mean, if you were Essendon, you'd rather your points stripped this year than next year, I would have thought. So, personally, I think the points are going to get stripped, and I'm hopeful it's going to be before finals, because we need an end to this saga, and then ultimately we just wait for Asada after that and see what they decide. But, it doesn't sound like Essendon's going to take it lying down.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Hot Pies?
I don't know what to think, really. I've kind of tried to follow it, but it's always changing. Every week something different happens, and, 1 week it'll be, Essendon's going to lose all their points and, they're never going to play again. And the next week it's going to be, they're going to get off all charges. I'm just kind of sick of it, and I just want it to be over and done with. And basically I really want Essendon to be crushed, really, maybe bring out the stockades, put them all in the stockade. We can go out there and throw rotten tomatoes at them, and that'd be fun, just bring it on, really.
Yeah, look, I see the real risk is, and why things are the way they are, is because we're dealing with a lot of big personalities at Essendon. We're obviously, dealing with a hero of the club and Brownlow medalist and premiership players. So look, it's hard legally to justify the people involved getting off, and yet the club somehow being sanctioned in some form. You'd think that if the club gets off, the players get off, or the personalities involved get off, and the Essendon Football Club will be doing everything in their power to make sure that Thompson, Hurd, Reid, and Cochrane, will get off, and they're being a bit pig-headed about it. And look, they're doing what they can, and if the Collingwood Football Club were in the same predicament, maybe they'd be acting the same way. We don't know. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, just kind of the same boat there. I want it to be over. As Hot Pie said, you try to follow it, but it's changed too much. We don't know what. Like, I've tried reading the threads on the Asada subboard, but it's just too confusing for me. I just want Essendon to get punished. We shouldn't. The AFL shouldn't go lightly on them. Cheating in sports, big deal. If this was another sport, they'd have everything there now, like finished. Punishments and stuff. I think it's a bit. I don't know. It's a bit annoying that Essendon are going to try and challenge it. If they challenge it, then if they don't win, AFL could punish them in other ways, like giving them a bad fixture or, taking premiership points away next season. So just hope it's just want it over and, I'm sick of hearing it on the news.
Oh, absolutely. And look, just like by virtue of all the drama we've gone through this year, I mean, how could I fail to see how Essendon could put a case forward that they haven't been bringing the game into disrepute. Anyway, moving right along. So, DaVe86. Now, you write previews that get published on the Collingwood football website. We're just interested. What process, do you go through, to do those, and how much work do you put into those?
The writing part's the easy bit. I mean, they're quite lengthy, but I can probably knock it up in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The hard bit's during the week, sort of putting all the information together, going onto various websites and getting the information. It takes a bit to edit it and things like that. I mean, it's a couple of hours a week, which is quite a effort around work, and often doing late hours at work. So, but it's something I absolutely love, and I know I've got a few loyal readers out there that enjoy the articles. So I'm keen to keep going with it, and now that it's up on the Collingwood website, it's given me that extra incentive to want to keep doing it every week. But it's definitely a fair bit of work goes into it, particularly just needing to watch all the games and taking notes during games and ensuring I'm up to date with all the players from the other sides in particular is the difficult bit.
Okay, and certainly you do have many loyal supporters on the BigFooty website. How many games a weekend do you watch?
I try and watch them all, but lately not as many as I'd like, just been so busy with work. But I at least watch the teams that we're going to come up against the following few weeks. So if last week, obviously with West Coast and then North Melbourne to come, I made a note to watch both those games, and if I miss it, just watch a replay during the week. But at least if I can keep up to date with the next few teams that we're going to face. But ultimately, I'd love to be watching them all.
And which websites do you go to do your research?
Fan Footy, Footy Wire, I'm always on AFL, but also just trawling around the other forums as well, keeping up to date with injury lists, reading the papers. I'm a nerd, mate. I'm an absolute nerd. My missus hates me for it, but it's my passion, so she's going to have to live with it, unfortunately.
Good to hear. And, okay, all right, so we've got a footy game coming up this Friday night against the West Coast Eagles. Dave, you watched the Eagles game last week. What are your thoughts about our upcoming game?
Yeah, they're struggling, the Eagles. They've got a lot of injuries, and typically West Coast is the sort of team when if they can't make the finals, they tend to drop off, and we've already seen, they'll have Hearn, Kerr, also Natanui and Lacroix. They've already ruled out for the year. Maybe Maston might come back this week, but I think they're struggling. I think they'll just get to the line now and get ready for next year. I'd be pretty disappointed if we lost this game, particularly with a lot of players with a lot to prove before finals. They were shocking last week. Geelong totally ran through them, and at their home ground, they didn't offer a yelp.
Did you see the game against Essendon?
I did. They looked very good in the game against Essendon, but I suppose the difference being that I think they probably thought they were still a chance to make finals, and then the loss last week to Geelong, I think, has just put them back in their shell. And to be honest, I don't know how good Essendon is right now. They looked pretty flat in that second half, and obviously got that further injury to Lacroix in that Essendon game as well. I think they're struggling, but that said, everyone seems to come up against Collingwood pretty strong. So you never write off West Coast, but I think their injury list is pretty extensive at the moment.
Okay, so we've got some feedback here again from Five Strings of the West Coast Eagles board, who's given us three names who we'll have to watch out for in the West Coast Eagles Guernseys on Friday night. Number one, he's got Kennedy, who he reckons will bounce back from last week's goalless outing and give the lesser Brown twin nightmares. There's a bit of a dig there. Player number 2 he's got is Mackenzie, who he thinks will shut down Cloak. And player number 3 is an easy one to guess, and we saw this one coming. Sherrod Wellingham, who 5 strings of the West Coast Eagles board thinks will be primed to play his old team, and he'll have a cracker. Hot Pies, what are your thoughts on Friday night's game?
Well, on those players, with Josh Kennedy, you never know with Nathan Brown, do you? He seems to have a good week one week, and then the next week's a bit of a shocker, so he's due for a shocker because he had a great one against Roughhead, so maybe we should start Keith on him first. Mackenzie to thrash Cloak, all he has to do is make sure he gets all his marks dead straight right front 20 metres out, and he won't kick a goal. And Wellingham's a champion. I always loved him when he was at Collingwood. He's not consistent, though, and he loves his hair, so maybe someone should get out there and rough up his hair at the start of every quarter, and it might put him off his game. But
put seedsman on him.
Yeah, that's it. Have the 2 hipsters against each other. It'd be the battle of the hipsters. It'd be really good. I think West Coast have shut up shop, just like what DaVe86 said. Up until the Geelong game, I think they could probably still make the finals. But since then, they've announced, Nick Nat's not going to play for the rest of the year, and LaCroix's not going to play for the rest of the year. They've announced a couple of retirements, and I think we should really look at gaining some serious momentum going into finals.
Okay, Corey, what are your thoughts on Friday night's game?
Hopefully, we can hit some form. Get it back after a loss, rebound after a loss. It'll be see if the Eagles, because they're not playing finals, they'll just go out and have a try. We saw Essendon last year when we were playing against them near the end of the round. They put a lot of effort in, and they tried to get up top. But hopefully we can get into form into some guys. Hopefully Cloak can kick about 3 or 4. Hopefully Fronty does something good a bit against Cox, one of the great ruckmans of the league. Just hoping for a win because we need it to stay for the finals.
Are you tipping a win there, Corey?
Oh, yeah.
How big would that win be, do you think?
Probably about maybe 40 or something. It depends if we take the gears off on the last quarter.
Okay, 7 or 8 goal win is a tip from Corey. Okay, all right, so that moves us on to our quick questions for the week. And I've got a series of questions here, which I'll ask each of you. And if we can have one-word answers to each of these questions. So, Dave, we'll start with you. Who would you most like to face in the elimination final out of all the possibilities?
Port Adelaide.
Hot Pies.
Port.
Who would you most like to face in the elimination final?
Port Adelaide.
Okay, Corey?
Yeah, probably Port.
Okay, all right. So, Dave, who would you least like to face in the elimination final?
Essendon.
Essendon, an interesting one. Hot Pies.
Richmond.
Okay, Corey?
Probably Essendon, I guess. Yeah.
For me, it'd have to be Carlton. There's no way I'd want to face Mick Malthouse after whipping his butt 2 times this season, having to face him in the elimination final. That'd just be too much stress to take, I think. All right. Third question. Have we seen Didak's last game of AFL footy? Dave?
No, he'll play this week.
Wow, big call there. Hot Pies, what do you think?
Hopefully not.
All right. Corey, have we seen Didak's last game?
No, I think he'll get another game. Hope he plays finals too. So
it'd be nice for him to say goodbye to a fine career there, wouldn't it? Who do you think will win AFL Coaches Association Coach of the Year, Dave?
Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year.
I think they'll give it to Ross Lyon.
Okay. Hot Pies?
From cellar dwellers to finalists, Ken Hinkley.
Ken Hinkley. Corey, what do you think?
I reckon maybe Longmire. I don't know, just a shot in the dark, maybe.
Okay. My tip is with you, Hot Pies. I think Hinkley will get it. Should Grundy have got the Rising Star nomination? Trade Draft think so? What do you think, Dave?
Yes, he should have, but Viney was deserving.
Okay. Did you watch that game?
The Melbourne one?
Yeah.
I fell asleep after quarter time.
Okay, you saw enough of it to think Viney was justified.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hot Pies.
Yeah, I think he should have won this week. But as we've seen in past years, players that deserve it one week, they'll get it the next week.
Okay. So you think he'll get it this week?
I think so. If he puts in a like performance, he should get it again this week.
Corey, what do you think? Should Grundy have got the Rising Star nomination?
Yeah, I think he should have. I thought he was really good against Hawthorn. The bit shame he didn't get it.
Okay. Dave, another question from Trade Draft. Would you boo Wellingham?
Sorry, I missed that.
Would you boo Wellingham?
No.
Hot Pies.
No, I'm not a huge booer. I'll cheer him. Cheer on Willingham. As long as he's not kicking any goals against us.
Yeah. What do you think, Corey?
No.
All right, last question. Is this a game we should experiment with against West Coast, or should we just, go out to win it and do as best as we can? Dave, what do you think?
No, win it and win it well. No experiments. But bring Didak in.
Okay. Hot Pies.
I think the last couple of games you should be setting up how you're planning to set up in finals, so people are kind of relaxed and set in their ways for the finals.
And Corey.
Just go all out and thrash them, and then move on to next week against North, and win by maybe 100 points against them.
Okay. All right. Yes, we're unanimous there. We should go into this game against West Coast to win it and win it well. All right. So that brings us to the end of our podcast this week. It's gone very, very quickly. DaVe86, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully this is the first of many.
I hope so.
And Hot Pies, good to have you on the podcast again.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Hopefully we win against this week because I can't deal with another reaming.
All right. And Corey, thanks for coming back on. Any chance that we could get a training review from you before the end of the season?
Yeah, most likely.
Fantastic. We look forward to that. I'm 76ers. Thanks for listening to the podcast. As always, thank you for listening, and you listeners out there, you're a bigger part of it as we are. If you're interested in joining the podcast, we'd love to have you on. We've got a few people already who've put their hands up for next week. Thanks for that. If you'd like to help out, even just behind the scenes, we've got a team of people who do recording, who do editing, who do the music, who do the graphics. Corey, thanks for the work you've done on the graphics. If you'd like to help any of those people out, or just make a contribution to the podcast, you're most welcome. Put your hand up and keep listening. So that's it for the podcast this week.
This is Dave, 7th for round 22. I'm sorry that I didn't do round 21, but I got banned from BigFooty from the Blues Ball because I went over there and told them that their loss to the Western Bulldogs was very good viewing. And, well, let's just say they didn't take it very well, and I got a ban for a week, which sucked, but I guess, they have warnings and it says against the rule, which is technically right, but I have to take it. I can't complain, so I did my week and I'm back. So the title segment for this week is about where can we finish the season finals for the AFL side. So we're not going to make top 4 because we lost to Hawthorn, so it's just mathematically impossible. So we're most likely for me to finish. We're playing West Coast and North. There should be 2 wins, so should we finish 5th or 6th and get a home game for the first week of the final, the elimination final at the G. So we could beat either Essendon, Port or Carlton pretty easily. Then we go into the semis where we might play one of Sydney or Fremantle or even Geelong. So I don't think Hawthorn will lose in the qualifying final. So except for Fremantle, we could beat either Sydney or Geelong as we've proven this year if we play at our best. And Fremantle over there is 50-50. So we'll see what happens when we go into the prelim, where unfortunately I think we might play Hawthorn, and unless we play our absolute best, we can't beat Hawthorn. So I just can't see us getting past them in the finals. So we could potentially make the prelim, and we could even potentially make the granny. There's an outside chance of the grand final, and if we play someone else that's not Hawthorn, we could win the premiership, which is a long shot, but that is my thought. So I hope you enjoyed the segment, and I'll be back next week. Bye.